about to happen.
Oh, this is cooler than the other side of the pillow.
It's showtime, folks.
Hey, everybody, welcome to Into the Music. I'm Andy. That's Greg. You know the deal. We're here to listen to some music. And from what I gather, our fearless leader, Gregory Keith, has got a song up his sleeve. So what do you got for me, Greg?
Fearless leader. Wow, if you really knew me. What was that?
Hope it's not that cat again.
Yeah. You're going to force me to do like cat sound effects again.
Oh, so what you got for me, bud?
So it's really interesting. How do I kind of sum this up really shortly? Because I can go on and on and on. But you know, there have been like a while ago, I was kind of getting into doing solo stuff. Not just Kofi, but I was actually like kind of like searching and finding songs on my own and listening to it for like 30 seconds and then putting it into my queue and then reacting to it, you know, instead of giving it to you or giving it to John, because I feel like those kind of songs I'm kind of discovering for the first time. And I might have heard a little bit of it, but like it's still new and fresh. Okay. So I have a queue with like a lot of these songs. And I was kind of going through the other day. And so like, yeah, 20 seconds. I don't know why I like that. It's out of here. But a lot of songs I left in. And this one, Steve Lacy. And it's called Dark Red. It's still fresh, brand new. I have to remember like the song title. But Dark Red by Steve Lacy. And I listened to it again for like 30 seconds. I'm like, this is good. I'm like, the hell with the 30 seconds. And I just go through the whole song. I'm like, this is a really good song. I listened to it again. I'm like, well, it's like, I think I kind of ruined like the fresh and the authentic kind of, so I'm like, now I got to give it to somebody.
Yeah, right.
So I'm giving it to you. Steve Lacy, Dark Red. Do you know the guy? Do you know the song?
It's funny. I know of him and I know the band that he's in or the group that he's in, The Internet. I've heard like 3 or 4 tracks from them and I like them. And they are sort of in that like that neo soul R&B band music that like collective that I like and listen to from time to time. Obviously I'm an indie rock guy, but I mean I love that stuff too, and I love other genres and I'll go to them from time to time. I've got a few of The Internet songs. I heard that he was doing like some solo stuff, but I hadn't really sought it out yet, or it hadn't fallen in my lap. So this is kind of serendipitous that you've now oversaturated yourself in it to the point where it's not new anymore, but you like it, and I get to catch it on the new tip. So I'll give it a listen for sure.
Awesome. Okay, I sent it over to your address, and go check it out.
I'll go check the mailbox.
Mail time.
And something bad is about to happen to me. I don't know what, but I feel it coming. Might be so sad, might leave my nose running. I just hope she don't wanna leave me. Don't you give me up, please. Don't give up on me. I belong with you, and only you, baby. Only my girl, only you, baby. Only you, darling, only you, baby. Only you, my girl, only you, baby. Only you, darling, only you. Something bad is about to happen.
Oh, this is cooler than the other side of the pillow. There is just such a chill, laid-back vibe to this sound that is just resonating with me. The guy doesn't have the best voice in the world, but I mean, that's kind of neither here nor there. Or it somehow is of no real consequence or issue, because the song just in general to this point a minute in has been really kind of just relaxing, and I don't know if it's like I'm in the right mood type thing, but it's definitely resonating with me.
To me, why I feel this way, I don't know. Maybe I think of her so much it drives me crazy. I just don't want her to leave me. Don't you give me up, please. Don't give up on me. I belong with you and only you, babe. Only you, my girl, only you, babe. Only you, darling, only you, babe. Only you, my girl, only you, babe. Only you, darling, only you. What if she's fine? It's my mind that's wrong, and I just let bad thoughts linger for far too long. What if she's fine? It's my
Okay. First of all, I'm picking up like on like subtle like jazz tonality in what sounds like the guitar, and I appreciate that. It's subtle, and it kind of makes you listen for it. The before the stuff that obviously caught my attention. The harmonies during what seems to be like the chorus are really really great harmonies, and they're adding to the song. So good on him for bringing in some other singers or musicians to kind of add that extra dimension to the song. And this whole like call and response thing that just happened, that's fun. So we're gonna take that back a little bit and experience it again.
what if she's fine? It's my mind that's wrong, and I just let bad thoughts linger for far too long. What if she's fine? It's my mind that's wrong, and I just let bad thoughts linger for far too long. Don't you give me up, please. Don't give up on me. I belong with you and only you, babe. Only you, my girl, only you, babe. Only you, darling, only you, babe. Only you, my girl, only you, babe. Only you, darling, only you.
Yeah, that was hella fun. That was a great tune. I mean, I'm saying it's a great tune. I almost wish it were a little bit longer, since it's the just shy of 3 minute mark. But I don't know. Almost at the same time, it was perfect in its packaging. Maybe this is the right length for this song. Regardless, I loved it a lot, and be interested to hear what Greg has to say about this. This is newer stuff for sure. So it's always fun to hear Greg's take on. From my perspective, it's always fun to hear his take on sort of newer stuff that's come out. So let's go chop it up with him.
Hey, I see you back.
You got me. Damn, can't slip anything past you, G. Yeah, I'm back. And man, this was such a simple little ditty, but I loved it, man. I loved it. It was so cool. It was such a cool ass song, man. What a chill vibe. I mean, I know the subject matter. He's talking about being sad or possibly being heartbroken by a girl or whatever, and it doesn't end. But there's almost this like light jazz tonality to the music, that gives it a bright aesthetic despite maybe the somber tone of the lyrics or whatever. But man, it was really cool. It was really relaxing and I loved it. So I'm going to look at my notes here. I jotted down when I listened to it, and a couple that I jotted afterwards. But just love the simplicity of the song. His voice isn't perfect, and I'm not used to his voice, because when I've listened to the internet, they're fronted by a female vocalist named Sid. So it's usually just him on guitar, from what I understand, and I'm not hearing his vocals. This was the guy doesn't have, like, he may, but in this song, he didn't wow me with range or anything like that. But it was just its imperfections made it perfect for this song. If you
Again,
will.
you take a word out of my head.
Yeah.
The imperfections, the flaws of the vocals,
Yeah.
unless it sucks. But I mean,
but it didn't suck, and it kind of again, he's kind of putting himself out there on Front Street with his feelings. It doesn't need to be that's not ever, no one ever puts that shit perfectly.
So
you know
good.
what I mean, when they're doing
Exactly.
that. So it works very well for this. And I think during I had to stop, and I was like, man, I had to take one out of Stuart Scott's book, and I was like, man, this is cooler than The Other Side of the Pillow. This is just,
I love that.
This is just too good. The use of harmonies helped vocally. So like when the chorus would roll around and you would get these added extra layers of harmonies, that helped add a layer to the vocals that it kind of needed. Yep.
And then it's like, and then you get this like this, whoa, like
Yes.
it gets saturated with these like layers of vocals.
Yes.
And I think it's other people that I think are helping him out. I mean, because if he's doing
I
like,
think I hear some female vocals in that as well.
Yeah, if he's doing like a Harry Nilsson, or doing like where, you know, he's just layering his own vocals, and then I'm like, holy shit. But
then I'll eat my words on the whole imperfect.
I think other people are helping him out, but I mean, that was a brilliant stroke, him or the producer like that. But just, you know, that was the fun. And then I'll shut up because you're still on a roll. But like when you said fun, like that to me was a fun part of it. You know, like he's singing,
absolutely.
He's very like insecure about the relationship. Something's going on. He's not sure. You know, I think he hopes that she's not going to leave him. You know, a little bit of paranoia there, and yet, you know, what's coming, how he's presenting and communicating, it's cloaked with just this like real interesting layered vocals that it makes it really interesting, and maybe almost like it's maybe what you think, but it's going to work out, you know, just hang in there, stop overthinking it, stop worrying, you know, because that fun stuff that we're hearing from you, you know, it's going to work out, you know, it's not all as bad as you actually think it really is.
Yeah, if he could write a song about it that sounds this cool, then I think he could communicate it to the person, the subject matter of the song, and be all right in the long run. You know what I mean? Because if he could be cool to us through a song, I'm sure that she'll understand once he sits down and talks to her or whatever. There was another, so after the harmonies go on, it kind of goes back into the original thing, and then it does this descending notation thing that changes by octaves. So it's like a descending lower, then a descending higher, then a descending lower, then a descending higher. Made me think of you and kind of smile because it's descending notation. And is that the musical part where it's just doom with the guitar? For a little bit, but then the next vocal part is laid over top of that. But for a while, it exists solely as music. Then it becomes the canvas on which the next set of like vocals are laid over it, where there is this call and response playful little thing where he'll sing a word, and then the someone in a falsetto will go ha and do a word, and then it'll go back into his next thing, and then ha. And that was fun. Like that was a fun
I love that. Yeah, I'm like, whoa, what the hell? That was
I went to stop it to acknowledge the descending music part, and I let the same part with vocals play for about 5 seconds, and the first hit as I paused. I was like, well, I'm gonna have to talk about that, but I wanted to talk about like the descent, how the descending note was really cool. But I let that play, and I even took that back because I was like, I love this call and response thing that he's doing. It's another, it's different from the harmonies, but it's the same mechanism, the same tool. Let me bring in someone else's vocals to add some flavor to this otherwise chill, kind of all be cool, but one note kind of sound that I have going on here. So loved that little, it's just the little things sometimes, Greg. Like you don't have to, you know, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be Mozart, right? You don't have to, you know, do some crazy outside the box stuff.
Can I just stop just there 1 second? You and I just finished doing a Zoom reaction episode for one of your songs.
Oh yeah, White Rabbits.
White Rabbits.
Yeah,
And I was talking about how this is the piano note that I just heard, and then again, and I'm like, and it jumped out at me, and I liked it. I mean, isn't that the greatest thing? You know, you got all this stuff going on, and then it's like, you know, just one dink, which I'm sure they intended. You know, and they probably felt it too on that end. You know, like the guy who's doing the actual dinking, and then the producer who wants to bring the dink out. And so, and then we hear the dink, and then we go with the dink, and we're one with the dink.
And we've done.
All right, enough. Sorry, enough to me, not you.
No, but sure. I mean,
I rinsed that one out. Yeah.
Point well made, though. I understand exactly what you're talking about. It's the subtle.
It's beauty. Yeah, it adds to the beauty. It's that little pin, right? It's almost like that little, you know, like Jenga. You ever play the game Jenga? Not one piece, the one piece, and just, you know.
It's the keystone, and then you pull it out, and everything crumbles. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, that was that. I mean, that was again. I think the last bit that I kind of thought, I didn't take any notes on it, but I mean, I didn't really need to remind myself of this, but it's interesting, right? Because 9 times out of 10, you give me a 2-minute and 55-second song and I like it, I'm gonna be like, that's not enough. Like, I needed more out of that.
Yeah.
Perhaps this isn't the case. Perhaps this song didn't need to be any longer than 3 minutes or whatever it is. Perhaps this is like the quintessential lovely little ditty, and that's all it needed to be. It didn't need another part added on to it. It was simple and cool, and that's all it needed to be. It didn't need to try to be other things. He could write another song for the album that does some stuff like that. This, the way it is good. I liked it, and I don't. Maybe selfishly, part of me was like, man, I really wish that went longer, but I don't know if it would have really made that much of a difference. I like the song a lot.
You know, I've chirped a lot about like length of the song and stuff. You know, I need more. And then, but I also believe too that, you know, sometimes it's you know, God created short people and tall people and this and that, you know, and there's beauty in every single person and every single thing and creature on the planet, and like the trees, and like, you know, like, why is something the way it is? I think it's really interesting because I was surprised of how short it was by looking at the minutes. After I listened to it again, I actually looked at it and I went, wait a minute. It's like, I think it's 2:54, 2 minutes and 54 seconds. It's not even 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And yet I personally didn't feel like it was, I mean, it is a short song, but I didn't think it was too short, you know? And usually with like John gave me a JJ Cale song back in July that was like 2 minutes and 40 seconds or something like that, and it was so good and bluesy, and I was like, and I'm just getting into it, you know, I'm basically setting down camp and I'm ready to get into it, and it's effing done. And yet for some reason this song is 2 minutes and 57 seconds, around the same sort of, and yet I didn't feel that same way, you know. Go figure, you know, how that works out. But yeah,
maybe it's just all on how you put a bow on it and like make it succinct. Like I vaguely remember that tune that you're talking about, and I remember seeming like open-ended, like it wasn't sealed tight and secure. And you know, like when you get a Werther's original and both ends of it are twisted perfectly the same amount of times, and it's sealed. That one felt like more like a cone, like it was open at the end. And
because that was a mood piece. It was a bluesy kind of thing, and he was putting some blues, and I was really like,
it was great music.
I was resonating with that in my heart, my mind. I'm like, yeah, and it was that kind of this is something that had a beginning, middle, and an end completely. That didn't really have. I think we're kind of saying the same language in different ways, but like, yeah, you know, that whole twist tie. It was not a twist tie. It was the open cone, you know. It was the cone of shame, you know, because I got really pissed off at John. He gave me a cone of shame, you know.
Well, at least it wasn't like dog shit music that didn't have a good ending. You know what I mean? It was amazing music. It just
I know, that's why I got really mad. Don't set me off again about that song. I was gonna watch this right now. I said, oh my God,
sorry, John.
Is he ever gonna be done with this?
No, he's never gonna live that one down.
But I think because there was like, you know, he really capped it, you know. It's like a plumber, you know, you just, you know, put the cap on here, you plug it up, and everything is all secure, and then you're done and you walk away. Did you did you have any questions about like what the genre is? Because it's funny when I go into Wiki, it identifies it as funk and soul, and I'm like, there's more to it. I mean, it's rhythm and blues, especially with the vocals and the
Is
layering of
that
the
how the
vocals.
song is classified, Greg, or is that how the artist is
That's what
defined?
That's what Wiki is actually identifying that song.
That
And I'm
song,
like,
that particular
no,
song.
it's more because, and I think I like it so much. And I can't even tell you how it got in my queue. It was just in my queue. I don't know if I, how it just showed up one day. It just kind of barged its way in. But yeah, soul and funk. But I think there's a rhythm and blues, especially with the vocals, has that real feel, and I can't call it, I can't go, "Well, don't you get it up, oh, whoa." I don't know if that's funk, I think that's a
No,
real rhythm
that's
and
why
blues.
I
That's rhythm and blues.
yeah, when you said the funk part, I was like, no, the only thing that's funk about it is, how funk is sometimes like jazz's party animal, like brother
Oh
who
yeah.
like that's funk. There was light jazz elements to the tonality of the guitar in this, but it wasn't funk. It was not funk.
No, it's
So there
yeah,
was jazzy type shit happening in the
definitely
guitar
soul.
tones.
I think
Way
jazz.
R&B and soul music though, yeah, for
and
sure.
and I think there's an alt. I don't know if there's an indie, but there's like an alt rock. There's like rock, and there's a rock feel to this. When he has that guitar part,
Yeah,
that just goes ding 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 ding, and it's like, it's nothing like, as far as like, nothing riveting or spectacular. I mean, as far as like, no, it's riveting, but it's not like, but
yeah,
they
it's
do
not
this
an
kind of,
exhibition in like amazing guitar talent. You know
you
what I
just hear
mean?
this
It's
drum
good
going,
songwriting.
yeah, do. It's so interesting. But that stopped being rhythm and blues for me. That stopped being soul for me. There was
Yeah,
like a rock, like an alternative rock or something feel to. I mean, I found what he was throwing in there and his
yeah,
influences, that created that song. I just found it so fascinating, because you
yeah.
can't
And
really
I
put a
think that
stamp.
might
You can't put a
be.
one stamp to it.
I think that might be an attribute that you could say falls under the umbrella of neo soul, because neo soul does lean
Neo
into some
soul.
guitar based stuff at
Yeah.
times, albeit not rock guitar, but still guitar based rhythms and
Yeah.
things. And so it does remind me of like the Roots a bit. It does remind me of geez, I'm trying to like some Fits in the Tantrum type stuff that happens with guitar work in some of their songs. It's just it's different, but it's rooted in all the things you named. But from it, there are these other little branches that come off, like some guitar rock stuff that
Yeah.
is in there.
Mac Miller.
Yeah, Mac Miller, you could say
I was
even
reminded
have
of
like
Mac.
his beats or
Yeah.
the music that he samples or assembles is neo soul in nature, for especially his slower stuff, right? So
And
yeah.
that's how this song might have gotten into my queue, because there was like a few months ago, I did Mac Miller song. And so I don't know if, this kind of YouTube said, oh, if you like that, try this. I don't know. But I do kind of like it. I'm reminded of Mac Miller, that kind of,
yeah.
Let me just a little bit. I mean, you kind of know about him, but like, I think he was 2013. That's when his career started. And again, he was in that band, The Internet. He's still in the band, right? Just this was so he's had 2 solo albums, 2019 and this year, I believe. But this was actually 2017 when he was kind of embarking on a solo career. It was an EP, and it was
So this didn't make the first album a year or two later. This
no,
is like
exactly.
a standalone. Okay.
Yeah, and he calls the EP Steve Lacy's demo, and it's got like 4 or 5 songs, including this one. This song went viral on TikTok as of February of this year, 110,000 views.
Wow.
So that might be another reason why, somehow, YouTube kind of, because I'm not a TikTok guy, but but I think somehow, I think YouTube picks up on the TikTok. I think they're all connected somehow, but yeah. And so cool, man. I'm so glad you like it, because I was like, oh man, I mean, it's not my usual sort of wheelhouse thing, but
yeah, but this is my other wheelhouse.
And
like, I love this stuff.
it's just a song. It's a great song. It's a great song. And I'm like, And I think knowing some of your interests and likes like that, I thought I might have a really good shot with
yeah, this is one of those
yeah.
good mood walking around songs. Like I'll put on my ear pods and I could listen to this while I'm grocery shopping or something and just feel like just good good
Cool.
vibes. So yeah.
Good. Well, it's good that you feel good. So there you go. And we'll leave it at that. And so
Thanks, man.
you have a good rest of the day. Feel good. And
Yeah.
everyone out there, hope you're feeling good too. I hope this song, this reaction, this episode made you feel even better. And if so, hit the like button. That'd be pretty cool. Subscribe if you haven't already. And well, we'll just see all of you on the next episode of Into the Music.